Good evening. Welcome to this edition of The Message, live from the watering hole. I am your host, Brother Ryan L. King, Messenger Ryan L. King, presiding messenger of the Lafayette, Louisiana Center. And today is November the 22nd of 2022, and we are live. It is great to be back in the studio with us this evening. And the topic of discussion on this evening will be talking about obtaining better mental health, freeing your mind, freeing your mind from the shackles, from the chains of poor mental health. All right, let's see here. Just to go ahead on and we have a couple of announcements here, and then we'll go ahead on and get into the we'll go ahead on and get into the conversation. We have a couple of people in the studio with us tonight, and we'll introduce them in a few moments. Got a few announcements, and let's see here. And again, this program is produced by the Lafayette Center of the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. The Society of Knowledge is a religious and interdenominational religious spiritual organization. Members come from various different backgrounds, different communities. We all share one thing in common. The glue that binds us is that we understand or have an understanding that there is a being that is greater than us all, that is greater than all things, that is indeed almighty. And again, this program here this evening is coming out of the Lafayette Center. We do have within the society, we have several other centers, four to be exact, five altogether. And let's see here. We have the coming out of the New Orleans Center. We have the New Orleans Center, which is presided over by Messenger Donatus King. Coming out of New Orleans, and they broadcast live on every Thursday evening, and also they have a fellowship and celebration on every Sunday. And on the first and third Sundays, they are live in person. You can catch them at Imani Temple number 28, 2411 Treasure Street, New Orleans, Louisiana. It is free and open to the public, and refreshments are served. So go ahead on and join them, and you're in luck. This upcoming Sunday would be the third Sunday. They'll be in the building. You're more than welcome to catch them at that address. Then we have the North Carolina Center of the Society of Knowledge, presided over by Messenger T. Nav L. up there in North Carolina. Brother doing great things. And you can also now have some more information on them and what's going on in that center in a moment, probably on the next broadcast. Then we have here, let's see here, the Appaloosa Center of the Society of Knowledge, presided over by Messenger Corey Levier of the Appaloosa, Louisiana, doing great things. I look forward to continuing working with this brother. And let's see here, who else we have? And we have the Crowley, Louisiana Center of the Society of Knowledge. I had a great pleasure of communing and fellowshipping with Brother Frank, Messenger Frank, a couple of weeks ago when he was acknowledged as a messenger, or his ordination was acknowledged. Our ordination, it doesn't come from anybody, any group, any organization. The most we can do is acknowledge that you are already ordained. And a couple of weeks ago, we had the pleasure of acknowledging and inducting Brother Frank, Messenger Frank, acknowledging his ordination and seating him as the messenger, presiding messenger of the Crowley Center. And of course, we can catch all of our information. This is all of the information here, and there's more to come. But main website, GodIsAlmighty.org, and there's a religious discussion blog there. You can catch us on Facebook, which we are now recording or streaming live through Facebook, and as well as sorry, not Twitter, but YouTube. And you can catch scrolling at the bottom of your screen there, youtube.com/user/Rhino Vision. You can catch previously recorded videos of the message coming out of the Lafayette Center from that site there, with that YouTube page. All right. Let me see here. Not to again. We're ahead this evening. I'm gonna go ahead on and get into this discussion here. Solutions or obtaining better mental health. Right. I had the distinct pleasure on this past Thursday of being involved in a seminar that was hosted by Brother Israel, aka King Izzy. We were expecting him to be on tonight, but he may be tuned in, watching and catching the stream live on Facebook. But hopefully we can get him on before the end of the show here. I'd like to introduce everybody to this brother, real wise cat, uh, coming out of New Orleans, but he's been in Lafayette for a little while, so I had a good time with him on Thursday. He recently published a book. Here it is, here up on the screen, Power and Mind Persuasion. And it's a great book, great read. But this book is really focusing on mental health, being able to get your mind in order. One thing he focused on in the book, which really stuck out to me, is this concept of prayer. And personally, I pray, but my prayer is a little bit different from, I guess, the normal prayer. Consider myself to be in a constant state of prayer. Every interaction is a prayer, is a communion with that which is all things, communion with God. But this brother, he kind of broke it down in a sense that using prayer to one, pray for forgiveness and pray for guidance. And in praying for forgiveness and guidance, it helps with maintaining a peaceful mind. Right. So when you're praying for forgiveness, what he mentioned is that you're getting rid of depression. Depression being you being kind of stuck in your mind, focusing on worrying about old things that happened, the past. When you worry about the past, you get depressed about it. And then guidance in terms of dealing with anxiety moving forward, right? So you may not know what's happening in the future, whatnot. So you get a little anxious about it, and so you pray for guidance, and that'll help you to get through that anxiety. But that like I said, I had a good time building with that brother on this past Thursday. Really appreciated that. But the reason why I wanted to highlight him is personally I never really took the time, right, to kind of focus on this issue of mental health. Now I'm not saying that I am immune to the quote vicissitudes of life, but in reflecting on it, just trying to prepare a few remarks to contribute to that seminar this past Thursday, and I come to realize that in dealing with quote mental health, the vicissitudes going up and down the roller coaster of life, I had actually developed some strategies that I personally use in order to get through. So those low points won't seem or be as low, right? And so I'll get into that. I'll get into that in a moment. But for the time being, I'd like to go ahead on. I see we have a few people who entered into the studio. And if you are all ready to come into the studio, now I can see you, but the viewers can't see you right now. So if you're all ready to come into the studio right now, and to kind of introduce yourselves and get into this conversation, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up or something like that. I can, if you can hit me on the other side of this tape. All right. I see. I see. Y'all great on it. All right. Let's see here. We have the good brother, fellow messenger, Othello, Frank Othello Andrus, presiding messenger of the Crowley Center of the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. It's great to have you on, brother. How we doing tonight?
I'm doing beautiful. How are you?
Doing well. Man. It's a great day. It's a great day.
All
I'm
right.
great.
Ooh,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Won't be
And
long with you. I have two meetings, but I'll be here for the time.
all right. Well, we to be honest with you, we ain't gonna be long this whole thing. You know what I mean? Just gonna say what we got
Yeah.
to say and keep it moving.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But like I said, it's great. It's great to have you. It's great to have you on board tonight. And I know you said
Mhm.
you got a couple other things to do. So if you want, if you like to share, a few thoughts, your own thoughts, right quick on some solutions or strategies you've come to recognize over the years, and helping yourself to deal with mental health, to keep on the level if you
Yeah,
like.
yeah, actually, I'm still learning it myself, this whole mental health issue, and I like that you said you're not immune to it, because we all deal with it, and we deal with it literally every day. Like from waking up in the morning to see if that stubbing of the toe is going to impact us in a big way, or if we're going to just let it hurt for a little while and then carry on with our day. And then even with that little toe being stubbed that day, reaching out to a month from now to a year from now, it's all the little things, plus the big things. But I realized with me, myself, I am one who survived suicide. It's another part of my testimony. And it always funny. I ain't trying to compare myself to Jesus or nothing. Hey sis, but I died
Mm.
for three. You know, I died for 3 days, and in a lot of way, I got into that mental health spot, super depression. And it's no it's not because of anybody else's wrongdoing or even my own. It's just realizing that it's something I went through, something that built up way from childhood and trying to have a mask, and then certain things like just things not falling into place in life that you work so hard for, and you have this plan and it seems to not be even aligning with the vision, not realizing it's all going to align with the vision. Just relax, you know what I'm saying? So my main survivor of it is with this depression, because it's just like a recovering addict, right? So every day, because of how I am, because I'm a person that I'm okay with death, right? Even with my own death, it was me saying, I'm ready to die. Like the
Mm.
only difference was is that I was
That's
trying to take
powerful.
myself out if my own timing when it's not my timing. But at any given time, I'm happy to go home, if y'all hear what I'm saying. Um, but
Yes,
the things that
sir.
press side that keeps me in this world, knowing that I have to be here, is all my gifts. Which my whole life I thought it was just for other people, whether it's the singing, the dancing, even if my gift of service, of servitude, because I'm a big servant, whether I want to be or not, which we all are. That's what we're here for. But I'm a big servant. I'm a big helper. But it's really for me first. And I found that out because I tried to destroy my voice in the process of the suicide. Even the nurses said, you'll never be as strong as you were. You won't run like you did, or you won't dance like before. And I told God, I was like, man, if I got to be here, I'm going to be able to do this stuff. So, no, I may not do it like I used to, but almost I was basically told I wasn't gonna be able to do it at all. And I can still get up in the morning and run now. I can dance, I can boogie, I can do a 10-second TikTok. You know what I'm saying, or something. I
Yes,
can I can
sir.
I can sing, but first it's for me, because whenever I'm having a bad day, what's the first thing that happens? I start singing. When I'm having a good time, I'm singing. No matter what time it is, I'm singing. So the gift was for me first. Even the boogie that's in my body, wanting to dance, like, that's important for me, not just for the people whenever I'm on stage in front of them, the voice, all that stuff. That's for me first. That gift that we're given to everybody was first given for us first. And that's what I had to learn myself. So that's what I do to help fight depression. So if I'm bored of singing, I'm gonna go draw that picture. If I'm bored from drawing that picture, I'm gonna go watch a motivational video. If I'm bored from that motivational video, I'm gonna go play some music. I'm gonna clean up and I'm gonna go get my boogie on. If I'm bored with that, Ryan, Isis, what y'all doing? Y'all want to drum or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, anything I can do to fight depression. What are all the things that make me happy? The things that other people see me enjoying myself, that's first enjoyable for myself. What do I need to do right here, right now to make that happen? Even if that means just close my eyes. And like what you was talking about, we're always in a constant state of prayer, but making an even more conscious choice to take this moment right here, right now, in this Walmart and pray right here, right now. You dig what I'm saying? Or even as I'm walking down the candle aisle with the towels or whatever it is, I'm in a state of meditation. I'm in my head. I'm meditating, but I'm talking about the things I want to attract into my life and everything else to get me out of this funk and keep going. Because if I gotta be here, I might as well be here. That's it.
Right. That's a powerful testimony. I appreciate your contribution there. You said a few things, that I like to touch upon, and I'll likely touch upon them, as we go on through this discussion. One of the main things you said is about accepting and appreciating your gifts as being who you are and what makes you who you are, and just appreciating them so much yourself that you can appreciate them without anybody else having to appreciate them. Right? Whether or not they appreciate them or not is irrelevant to you, but for you first, that's powerful. That's powerful. And as you begin to look at yourself as something greater than just this individual vessel, that becomes even more powerful. Again, appreciate you. Thank you, brother, for tuning in, joining us. However long you can ride with us this evening, greatly appreciate it. Right. I'd like to acknowledge two other persons that have come into the studio this afternoon, this evening. We have Sister Isis there, a partner in crime, if you will. I appreciate your energy, appreciate your spirit for joining us this evening, and we also have presiding messenger of the New Orleans Center, founding messenger, the Natas King, with us this evening. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this evening. How y'all doing tonight?
I'm thankful.
Beautiful,
Good evening.
beautiful. Good evening. Again, so the topic of discussion this evening is freeing your mind, solutions or exploring solutions to obtaining better mental health. So you just heard our messenger Frank there speak on his experience with mental health and some solutions that he's uncovered through his journey, and being able to keep on a level, if you will. And let's see here. And so we'll get more into that. And before we do, we have another brother, the brother that I was just speaking on a few moments ago. Brother Israel has joined us in the studio.
How you doing, brother Othello? How you doing, Mr. Donatas? How you doing? This Mr. Elvin's son, Terrence. Mr. Elvin and Melovenia.
Yes, sir. You can hear him now. You can hear him, partner? You hear that up? Yeah, I know. This connection might be a little fuzzy over there. Yes, sir. Yeah, the connection might be a little slow over there.
I apologize,
but,
y'all. I'm a little late logging in. I was on the road driving, so I pulled the side at a chiller.
It's all good, man. Timing is perfect. Yeah, as I like to say, right on time. In the introduction, kind of spoke on your. Let me see if I can pull that back up, just right quick. We were speaking on the book that you published, Power and Mind Persuasion, I was just speaking on the seminar, the occasion we had on this past Thursday, and was just getting around to the influence that your invitation to me had on getting us to this evening, in terms of reflecting, taking the time to reflect on this issue of mental health, and just being able to at this time share my experience with that on this journey. Right. So again, you know, this is, you know, I'm no expert on the matter. I'm no expert on the matter. I'm just here again sharing my experience, just as everyone else on the call is sharing their experience with dealing with mental health, finding solutions, or what have you. Brother Frank, Messenger Frank, just shared his take on it, and I have just a few points, and I look like we have Messenger Donatas back on the call with us. You there? All right. Like the audio, rather the connection is still a little sketchy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, not you, brother Israel. You good over there on your end? Speaking on Messenger Donatas, that his connection seem a bit shaky.
I apologize.
But yeah, so again, I like to share, and I always like to have my guests, be able to have the opportunity to share what they like to share. I can talk all night, but I don't like to talk much at all. So I like to allow my guests to share, what they have on their mind relative to the conversation. And if we start, I don't know how long we'll have you there, Messenger Donatas, if you'd like to, share a few words with us this evening.
I'm sorry, you was
Yeah, thank you. Might be muted.
Okay, yeah, I just unmuted it. Man, first of all, I appreciate
Brother Israel get on it and say a few words. Messenger Donatas, I don't know if the audio or something's not coming through on your end.
Yeah, I apologize. It's the area I'm in kind of noisy, so I'd much rather hear from y'all if possible.
We're gonna all hear from each other on this joint. Give you an opportunity to express yourself very well.
Yeah, it's kind of noisy, so I'll probably be throwing everybody off with the background noise. But I appreciate everybody for allowing me to be a part of the meeting, and this is something that we do need to continue, continue channeling our energy towards mental health. Like I can't understand how can we as a society expect to accomplish anything else without first going to the root cause of the problem, and that's the mental health of our society. Starting with each and every one of us as individuals, then the society as a collective. So before moving forward towards race issues, with issues with the government, with police brutality, everything starts with the mind. So if we channel our energy inward instead of outward, I think we'll see drastic change. And just going to the root of everything, which is the human mind. I'm pretty sure some of y'all familiar with the scripture where it says it's in the Bible. Be ye not conformed to the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So the key. The key is to, help transform society's mind by starting with ourselves. And Brother Ryan King brought out an interesting point at the seminar. Be it, just be the change that you wish to see. And once you be it, your influence, each and every one of us, our influence will be so powerful. It'll continue to have a ripple effect on everybody we come around. And I just feel blessed to be in the presence of, the elder, Mr. Donatus King. I grew up watching you alongside Mark Moriel, the things you did for the NAACP. So I just want to say it's phenomenal, brother.
All right. All right. Thank you, brother Israel. And I'm not sure if it might be muted on your end, but we don't have any volume coming from your side. We have your video, but your volume is not present. All right. While he getting that straightened out, brother Israel, you made a great point there in terms of that scripture. Be ye transformed by renewing of your mind. And the Kabbalion, familiar with that text, it mentions that all is mental. In a mental universe, all is mental. All starts with the mind, and that's the foundation of everything. And everything is in the mind of the Creator. All is the mind of the Creator. Is what I like to say. That's a great point, man. If we're able to reflect on and be able to center ourselves, we'll be able to transform society. As you pointed out. But it starts with the person in the mirror, the person in the mirror. So if you can transform yourself, then you can have a transformative effect on the environment, on the world around you. And I appreciate that point. Yes, sir. And again, this is a open discussion here.
Okay.
What to say, Sister Heidi? What you got on it? And for those, you're muted. So while you unmute yourself, for those of you that's not familiar with the sister, one of the proud owner of the best premier snowball stand in Crowley, Louisiana. If you ever passing through, riding on the interstate heading east or west, get off on that Crowley exit and go ahead on and enjoy one of those velvety snowballs there. And nowadays, she's moving more than just snowballs. One of the best place to go right now, if you're looking for a fajita egg roll, shrimp, chicken, or beef, stop on in. Stop on in. Got the gumbo, the pasta, all that type of thing. One of the premier food spots to grab you a quick bite in Crowley. So it looked like you done got your mic off mute, so the floor is yours if you have anything to share with us this evening.
Thank you so very kindly, sir. I would say that obtaining better mental health is, for me, it's knowing that we are all a part of this one grand picture. And I would see it as like puzzle pieces, and everybody is their own individual puzzle piece that fits exactly where it is supposed to fit. And everything is happening how it's supposed to happen. So just knowing that you can always get yourself back to the center and just say everything is okay already.
I can dig that. I can dig that. You must be sitting up under a wise and noble professor.
I'm thankful.
That's the source. The source of all things. I see. I see. You know, that's great. You know, just that recognition that you know we are a part of something larger than us all. You know, it certainly gives me peace, gives me calm. You know, in the midst of what's ever going on around me, I can sit back and say, you know what? You know, if this is happening, then it should be happening because if this person moving like this and is affecting me in this way, et cetera, you know, this is just what I'm supposed to be experiencing right now. That's a hard thing to live with, you know, sometimes.
Right.
Whereas, you know, you might, you know, perceive this thing as something bad. But let's say your vision was 100 years down the line, 2,000 years down the line, right? To see how there's one instance, like Brother Israel said earlier, this butterfly effect, how this one instance has an effect 2,000 years to come. You know, then you might be able to be at peace with that, you know, whatever it might be. You know, this negative thing could be the thing that sets your children's children up for a brighter future. You know, to be sitting on a throne or something like that. But you know, not to get into all that. You know, just go with what you got.
I was gonna say I wouldn't even say it has to be further down the line. That what's happening could what's negative have affecting what's negatively affecting you could help you to make different decisions, and which will
Mm,
lead you to a better, which would put you in a better space. Because if that negative thing wouldn't have happened, you wouldn't have made that decision, and you wouldn't be in this space right now. So
right,
I'm
right. So
glad.
I mean, just
Even
just
if
to speak on that, what you got, brother, brother Frank?
no, I was back and said that little bitty stub toe in the morning. That one stub toe that could have stopped you from getting in the car wreck. That 1 second
Right,
or something,
Right.
and even if you did get in that car wreck, you were supposed to get in that car wreck for something else to happen. But now we get into the objective, subjective. All right, hold up.
right.
But
You know, it's great. It's great to be able to
yeah,
have these kind of zoomed out conversations a little
I was
bit
about to
because
start another shit.
that's it.
Yes, it sounds like everybody's saying the
You went in and out there a little bit. But again, I appreciate all y'all's perspective on this. You know, none of us is as strong as all of us. So I'm grateful, you know, to be back in the studio, to be back communing with the people present and all those persons that may come to watch this in time when they watch it. Brother Israel, see you got your hand raised up.
Everybody made, everybody pretty much on the same page with what was just said, and it's beautiful, how it all ties in together to where exactly what you say, Twiyat, that which is all things, so with that understanding is, going back to the scripture, be ye not conformed to the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So our job is to help others have the same mindset that we have, that everything is all right. Everything is already like you said, the bad or the negative things that you perceive is negative, it happens for your good. We understand that, which allows us to have better mental health. But there's many others that don't understand that. So, like for instance, in the instance of a conversation, it's always, the conversation between two people. It's always two opposing forces, not all the
Mm,
time, but except for, when you have a society of knowledgeable individuals like each other, we're all in sync. You feel what I'm saying? We're all in sync and on the same page. But naturally, in most cases, when you encounter an individual, there is negative versus your positive mindset. So regardless of what they say to you, your job is to speak positively over their over the negativity that they carry on them based upon what they perceive that they're supposed to carry from what society gave them. Do you understand? Like, I'm sorry if I sound like I'm preaching, but that's the
Mm.
responsibility that we have with our power. You know, like right now, we're all in sync on the same page. This doesn't happen, and this rarely happens in society where you have five people come together and they're all on the same page. Like this is monumental, you know. So
Right, this is a
take it.
great occasion.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nah, that's all right. That's all right. It's a great occasion. I'm grateful to be able to commune with everybody here present. And I see we have brother Elder Messenger, brother Donat. You with us?
Let's try this again. See if can you hear me?
All right, perfect, perfect. Yes, sir. How we doing tonight?
So the audio is coming through.
It's
All
coming
right,
through
doing well.
clear.
All right, good, good. It's been interesting what I could hear of the discussion, the conversation. It's been very interesting. And when you speak about mental health, and this goes to show you how the spirit works, that there have been members here in the New Orleans Center that have expressed a desire as far as doing some work in the community relating to mental health and actually doing some outreach. One of the things in the Black community that's been expressed, and we have some folks that we work with that are Black social workers, and one of the things that they've expressed is that in our community, some of our members are so that concept is so foreign to them as far as addressing mental health that they may perceive that they have a mental health problem, but they are so conscious and conscious about being stigmatized that they don't even want to have their friends and relatives see them talking to a mental health professional. So the suggestion has been made, and this is something that we're trying to work out down here, as far as how we can actually go into the community and in a more, one-on-one situation, try to just open up the discussion like we're doing tonight. And Brother Frank, you are so blessed. And I say that you're so blessed. You're so blessed in having the strength and the peace to be able to share that you actually have to address personally your mental health. So that's a blessing in and of itself. And I heard some comments that were made earlier tonight that all of us, as far as I've been able to tell, have from time to time had to really address our own personal mental health. We speak about the norms and society norms and what feelings are normal feelings. What does it mean to feel normal? What thoughts are abnormal? And my own personal, my personal base is something that's been reflected in the comments that you all have made tonight. And that's the comments that there is an almighty being and that things do work together for, and I won't even use the term for the good, because when you use that term, the good, then that right there, it pulls in the bad, to understand and recognize the good. That is an acknowledgement that there's something opposite, and that's the bad. But that is a state of being that the Bible tells us that man has not been in since the Garden of Eden. And that's the state of being where there is no judgment as far as good and bad, that it just is.
Right.
And that right there is, it's not a state of being in bliss. It's not a state of being despondent. It's just a state of being, period. So, maybe that is part of the human, not maybe, it's my opinion, that is part of the human condition. And that is to have these feelings of emotions, to have these feelings of sometimes feeling up, sometimes feeling down. And the beauty comes in how we handle those feelings. And as I comment I made earlier about Brother Frank, how blessed he is to have experienced feelings and been able to deal with them. And everybody that's on this call right now, as I said, it's my opinion that we all go through. What's that old song? My mind keeps going through these changes. Yeah, we all go through changes, and we're all here on this call right now. So, we've all been blessed.
Righteous. Righteous. I received that. We all blessed and highly favored, as that other song goes. Let's see. That was a great catch that you mentioned there about this concept of good, societal norms or what have you, and with these relative definitions, these relative terms, good and evil, um, because the many different cultures, many different religions or societies, they speak about this this source that is the creator of both good and evil, right? And then once you break it down, in some societies, dedicate this particular god or this particular quote or Risha to this particular nature of being good, and there's other one to evil, things like that. But the reality of it is that we all, there's only one source, is the author of both good and evil, and when it drills down, it becomes a relative perspective for each individual on what they term as good or evil, right? So, Brother Israel mentioned something earlier about, you know, about doing good or what have you for these persons, but what if that person views what you're doing as evil, right? So now all of the quote good that you feel that you're doing is falling on deaf ears or what have you. If it's good speech, it's falling on deaf ears because they perceive it as evil. And it's not so much that you be wrong. It's just that for this particular person to exist and to navigate on this journey, it has to see things a certain way. And that's the beauty about the diversity within that which is all things. We all have our own perspective, and that's what makes the world go round. You know, like they said, people makes the world go round. Righteous, righteous. But yeah, again, I appreciate the conversation, appreciate the discussion. Um, like I said at the outset, I'm no expert. I don't want to take anything away from anybody on here, but I feel that none of us knows all things, but it's great that we could all sit down together and have this dialogue. And as is the nature of the society of knowledge, sample a little bit from here, sample a little bit from there. They may be saying some things in common. And if you're looking for truth, that may be the closest thing you'll get to truth. What all these things have in common. So I welcome y'all to continue to journey on this discussion with us. you know, as we continue to broach this subject of mental health and how we can begin to influence ourselves and not the people around us to be at peace, you know, that to maintain a level of mental health that'll allow them to make it from day to day. Let's see here. All right. Got you back in. So again, I mean, I have a few comments I like to make, but you know, I don't like to share them too much at the outset to kind of adversely or bias the conversation or anything like that, you know. But so I'm grateful that you all were able to share. And if anybody else has anything to, you know, that they pressing that they'd like to share at this point, you know, you're more than welcome to share that to share that.
Okay, all my audio, I can't hear anything.
All right, we can hear you. Anybody else having a problem with the audio right now?
No, I can hear.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's the guys of this media here don't want you to be involved in this conversation or something. That's crazy. But we're grateful to have had the. You can hear it. You can hear us now. Nah, look like he's not able to hear us. If you can hear
Okay.
us.
Yeah, I can hear it now. I'm sorry, the background, but if I can just add one more little thing is I think one of the best deeds of being able to help, you know, other individuals in society to, you know, to just help their minds transform is to give them a voice, you know, allow them to be heard. Like, this is big right here, what you're doing. Like, just, you know, allowing each individual to talk. Like you say, it's no such thing in the grand scheme of things. There's no such thing as wrong or right or negative or positive. It's just being, you know, like the elder Donata said, you know, it's being. So regardless of what it is a person believe or understand or perceive to be right or wrong, really and truly, they just need to be heard. They just need a voice and need an outlet to be able to, you know, and I'm gonna close this out real quick. I don't want, you know, over talk myself, but I did an interview recently with, you know, with a young lady where we posted it on Instagram or whatever, but the one of the solutions she gave to dealing with a family member or loved one that has a mental issue is to just be patient with them. If they're throwing a fit, allow them to just go through that. You know, if they screaming, yelling, whatever it is, people just need the opportunity to be. They need that, you know, that voice. Because at the end of the day, we all just want to feel valued, you know?
I can vibe with that sentiment in terms of just allowing somebody to be heard. You know, in the midst of all the noise. You know, even with, you know, social media and everything like that nowadays, where you can go on, you can talk whatever you want to do. Right? A lot of people still feel like they're not being heard, and so just to offer that listening ear sometimes is goes a long way in helping somebody to manage their own mental health. You know, so that's a great point. You know, like you said, if somebody having a fit, said have a fit with them. You know what I mean? have a fit right along with them. You know, let them know that they're not alone. You know, we in this together. Let's do this. This is what we doing. Let's do it. You know, if you feel like you need to rob a bank, let's go rob. I'm kidding. No, let's not go rob the bank. But you know, but allow them that opportunity to be heard. Let them know, you know, that they're not alone. They're not alone. And like they said, that the best way to help somebody is to meet them where they're at. You know, that's the best way to help them. Meet them where they're at. And once they feel like, you know, yeah, this I can trust this person. This person gets me, it understands me. Now their ear will be open to you. You know, now that that good thing that you were speaking earlier that they thought was evil, now they'll be able to hear that, all right, is there some good stuff that this brother is speaking, you know? But it starts with that, just being there with them, be present, you know? That's a great point. I appreciate that, and that the audience, the listeners, gonna appreciate that. Everybody else that's tuned in gonna appreciate that. And not to drag this thing out much longer. Yeah, I'm gonna have just had to have like I said, a few points. You know, like I said, brother Israel, when you sent me that invite to participate in that seminar, it really forced me to sit down and kind of evaluate my own journey in terms of how dealing with quote mental health. You know, it's sort of like an arm. You know, it may be perfectly fine. You don't notice it, right? But once you get bit or you get cut on that arm, now that arm is one of the most important things. You know, you're focusing on it. You know, and sometimes if it's a minor little bite, you might notice it for a second, and then you're off it again. You know, but sitting down and really reflecting on it. You know, this year for me has been an interesting year in terms of dealing with mental health and reflecting on it. You know, these are a couple of points that I found that helped me to not maintain or take up residence in those low points. You know, let's see. Let me see. Like as you can see on the bottom of your screen, it's just 3 points. One, know yourself. Right. Two, create your own story. And three, be present. Right. So what do I mean by that? So to help me to explain, what I mean by that, I'm gonna go ahead on and share this statement of understanding. Let me see here if it's coming across right on the screen. Remove that. This statement of understanding. So being in a society of knowledge, over time, I've been blessed with this understanding. Now this again is not reflective of the society. It's not quote endorsed by the society. This is something personal to me that I'm sharing with everybody here present under the sound of my voice that may watch this at any point. Yeah, so this is a statement of understanding. Now, when it comes to that first point, know thyself, this first paragraph, it speaks exactly to that. Yeah. So I am that which is all things made manifest in the flesh. When I say I'm that which is all things, that which is all things for short, tweet at. You heard Brother Israel make reference to it earlier. Tweet at that which is all things. I know that I, being manifest in the flesh, am an instrumentality of that which is all things. I know that I am inseparable from that which is all things, that which is all things. For I and all instrumentalities are that which is all things itself. Right? So looking at that, and if I'm at a quote low point to say that somebody put me here or made me get here, right? If I remember who and what I am, right, I know that this quote low point is nothing. Right? I'm the author of this low point. I put myself here to experience whatever it is I'm experiencing. And so knowing that, I can get myself out of it. I can allow myself to think differently or perceive differently about the circumstance or the situation. Right? And that brings to the next sentence, all is in the mind of that which is all things. That's what we're talking about today, mental health. All is the mind of that which is all things. Right? That which is all things works through me, and all its instrumentalities as perceptions of itself to produce the illusion that I in the flesh perceive as reality. Right? So we've all been speaking on that this evening, about this perceiving things. How do you perceive a situation? Right? It's no good or bad. How do you perceive it? How do you relate or choose to relate to this experience? Okay. And so now moving on to that second point, creating your own story. Right. People talk about history, his story, et cetera, my story, mystery, my story, et cetera. You know, you have all these different worldviews and things. You have Eurocentric, you know, you have Eastern worldview, Western worldview, all these different worldviews. But what's your story, right? What's the story that you've created and your perception? You heard Brother Frank speak on this earlier, you know, about having that. He didn't use these exact terms, but essentially he was speaking on having that quote selfish or that self-centered understanding, right? That, you know, I'm here for a purpose and I'm going to be my purpose. I'm going to start with me and I'm going to be, and I'm going to allow this instrument to do what it does. And in doing and allowing this instrument to do what it does, that, from what he was saying, gives him a level of peace, keeps his mind at ease. But this third paragraph speaks, you know, exactly, you know, to that situation. You know, I know that that which is all things makes no movements in excess, and that nothing moves without an express mandate from that which is all things. For all is the will of that which is all things. In reality, there is nothing that I need to do, for I know that that which is all things provides all things necessary for its instrumentalities to exist. In my perceived consciousness, however, as I come into a greater appreciation of my relation to that which is all things, I am propelled to establish relations with other instrumentalities which necessitate that I consciously act in a particularly prescribed manner. Right. So as you're creating your story, the story on your life, you know, is almost a theory of life, right? A theory of living. Right. So that story, how do you exist in that story? You know, what's your character? What's your role? And now the reality of it is you're gonna be where you're gonna be regardless. You're gonna be doing what you're gonna be doing regardless, right? Because that which is all things is orchestrating all of this. Like we mentioned earlier, you know, you're an instrumentality of that which is all things. And not only that, but you are that which is all things. So you've already ordered all these things to come to pass from the first cause. All these effects are just playing out from that first cause, right? But what's the story that you tell yourself? How do you address the situation? Is this good to you? Is this bad to you? Are you indifferent to this? Right? Why do you establish? Why do you go out and do this job? Why do you go out and speak to these people, et cetera, et cetera? Right? So now all these are the things that you tell yourself in your perceived consciousness in terms of establishing these relations with these things or whatnot, these other instrumentalities. Right? What gives you peace? And so once you create that story, right, you are again the author of that story, and you could always revise and edit that story as time goes on. Brother Israel just wrote a book. I'm sure there's gonna be a part two coming, you know, or another iteration of that story. Right. And that was a great book, man. I got a lot of insights from that. I look forward to reading it again, actually, you know, and be able to have a conversation with you about it. You know, I'm looking forward to that. But again, you know, if you haven't already, go on out on Amazon. It's available on Amazon. Amazon Books, Power and Mind Persuasion. Go ahead out and get you a copy of that. And it's a great read. Um, it's a great read. But again, you know, in writing that story, right, you have the power to change that story at any given time. You're in a you're in a low point, right? How
Right.
low is that low point? You know, how high is that high point? You know, what can you do in your perception, right, to change the way the story is going? Because again, it's gonna go how it's gonna go regardless. But how you perceiving that story is, is what matters at the end of the day. You know. And then as last point, be present. You know, don't be focused, don't be stuck in the past. You know, They have some cultures, some societies, they still trying to figure out what happened 100 years ago. You know. Then you have some societies, some cultures, they 1,000 years in the future, worrying about what's happening way down there. Yeah. And so both of them are kind of missing out on what's happening right here, right now. They either, and that again could lead to people jumping off of buildings. Right? Stock market crash. You know, you jump out of building because you're not sure what's gonna happen tomorrow. No, you were so tied to 100-year future from now that may or may not have come to pass. That knowing that it won't come to pass causes you to jump off a building. You know, it's crazy. So be present. That's the last point. Be present. Like the brother Israel mentioned in his book, in terms of prayer. You pray for forgiveness. You pray for guidance. But with both of those, it helps you to be present. Right? So that's just a couple of points. My little take on our couple of solutions in obtaining better mental health, being able to stay quote on a level with things. Again, I appreciate y'all for riding with us tonight. If anybody, the floor is open. The floor is open. Excuse me. If you have anything to share with us further, more than welcome. The floor is yours. Any closing comments?
Yeah, I'm out for the night, brother. I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to doing exactly that. Just continuing this conversation. If I took
Right.
anything from everything you just said, is that the only thing we have, the only power we have, is to be present, is to strive. We can't control how the chips are gonna fall, but just be present, strive, just work, do something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, is the creative, that which is all things will judge, good, bad, whatever. Just work as much as possible with the time that you have. You feel what I'm saying? Like, okay, whatever our cause is that we're striving in, use as much of the present as possible. Tomorrow is not promised. We can't go back and do anything in the past, but
Hmm.
just be present and do as much, cram as much as possible in one day. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
everything after that, is beyond our control.
Right. Just say do what you can and let the rest fall under that, huh?
That's it, brother. That's it.
Yeah, sure. Well, again, I appreciate you, brother, for taking the time out this evening, ride with us and contribute to this conversation. I look forward to continuing to build on this energy, on this momentum. And once we get the situation straight for next time, all that information will be disseminated, so that when the next time we'll be meeting up. I'm looking forward to it. Sister Isis, what you say? Got any closing comments, any closing thoughts for us this evening?
I would say to just treat everybody how you want to be treated, and that you should be at peace with that, knowing that everything that you put out will come back to you. So I don't know. That's
Righteous,
it.
righteous. I received that. I received that is a powerful anecdote. Treat others how you want to be treated. The interesting thing about that is if let's say I come and I hit, just walk on the street and punch somebody in the face, I have to expect that somebody's gonna come back and do that to me. Right? I can't be mad if somebody came back and done that to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
That would be a level of psychosis, I think, to think that you can go out and do something to somebody and not expect for that same type of energy to return to you. So I appreciate that point. I appreciate that very well. Do unto others the golden rule, as you would have them do unto you. All right. Again, I appreciate everybody, for joining us. in this discussion, this conversation that continues. If you're joining us on Facebook, like, share the video on YouTube, like, share the video. We're everywhere. Like and share the video so that as many people as possible can be able to hear, join into this conversation. Right. And again, this is produced by the Lafayette Center of the Society of Knowledge Incorporated, and our only purpose here is to deliver the message that God is Almighty. Once that's been delivered, we can sit here as we just did and have a full-blown conversation, right? But it all centers back on that same theme, that same concept, that message. God is Almighty. As you heard coming through the commentary this evening, I think everybody, if not everybody, mentioned that. There is a higher power, and to be at peace and knowing that that power is in control. If that's all you took from that, to know that there is a higher power, something above us that's in control, that in and of itself ought to be able to give you peace. It most certainly does for me, and I'm grateful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, again, stay light. You are the most powerful influence on your life. Your perception is the only perception that matters. I challenge you to develop that self, that to cultivate that selfish nature. Right? I challenge you to do that. But then in developing that selfish nature, right, also develop an understanding or a concept. And it's okay, it's totally fine how you perceive it. But what do you understand that self? Right? Reflect on that. It might sound controversial in terms of developing a selfish nature, but what does that mean to you to be self? Is it just the vessel that you see in the mirror when you look at it? Or are you connected? Can you see yourself as that which is all things? Right? And begin to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But all that, again, I just tuned in here tonight to share this message with you that God is Almighty. Until next time, peace.